Hello everyone, this is grade 5 grammar lesson, recognizing singular and plural nouns. Objectives are recognize singular and plural nouns and use singular and plural nouns in speaking and writing. So for your information, singular means only one and plural means more than one. So in grammar, how do we form plural nouns? A noun that names only one person, place, or thing is called a singular noun. But if that noun names more than one person, place, or thing, then it is a plural noun. So the rules are pretty simple. Most plural nouns are formed by adding s or es. You call them regular plural nouns. But some are formed in other ways and they need to be memorized. So these are the irregular plural nouns and we will be providing you with examples as we go through this lesson. So let's look at this chart with examples of singular nouns and plural nouns. So in the first column, you have Robin made one shot in the first half. So we have highlighted two singular nouns in here, shot and half. If we would transform them into their plural counterparts, you have she made a total of 5 shots in both halves. So let's discuss the structure of how we can transform singular nouns into plural nouns. We have discussed in the previous slide that for most nouns, you only have to add s or es, like shot becomes shots. But for some nouns, like for example, nouns ending in f, we have to change f into v and add es. So the way that we are transforming singular nouns into plural nouns would depend on the structure of that noun. So let's go to the second example. The coach spoke at a rally. So your two singular nouns highlighted are coach and rally. So turned into plural form, you have the coaches spoke at rallies. So now you have in here an example of a noun ending with ch. So the general rule is if a noun ends with ch, sh, s, or x, then we have to add es at the end of that noun to transform it into plural form. Now we have the word rally. So for some nouns ending with y, we have to change y to I and add es. Now let's go to the third example. The man runs like a deer. So you have your singular nouns man and deer. Turned into plural form, you have the men run like deer. So as discussed in the previous slide also, we have what we call irregular plural nouns. For some nouns, you have to change the spelling if you want to transform them into plural form, like man, men, woman, women. Now, we also have nouns like deer that does not need any change in spelling at all. So deer would be classified also as an irregular plural noun. Now let's discuss collective nouns. A collective noun names a group of people, animals, or things that act as a unit. So let's take the keyword group in here. When you say collective noun, you mean a group. A collective noun is treated as a singular noun unless it names more than one group or collection. So let's look at two examples right here. Our local team wins the tough games. So your singular collective noun in here is team. Even though the team has many members, it still acts as one unit. You are talking about one group of people. So it's singular, so it refers to one in terms of number. Now, you have the second example saying our local teams win the tough games. So in this case, you have many teams composed of many members. So you add s to team and you get your plural collective noun, which is teams. Let's look at other examples of collective nouns. So for people, we can say a class of students, an army of soldiers, a choir of singers, a troupe of artists, a team of players. So we have different group names, specific collective noun names for groups of people. These are all considered singular because they act as one unit. Now, if you want to transform them into plural form, then they should look like this. Classes of students, armies of soldiers, choirs of singers, troops of artists, and teams of players. So you will apply the same set of rules in transforming singular nouns into plural nouns, whether that noun would be regular in terms of category or irregular. Now, if we're talking about animals, what do you call a group of fish? You don't just say group of fish, right? You say a school of fish. Now, a group of birds is called a flight of birds. Group of sheep would be a flock of sheep. You also have a swarm of bees and my very favorite, a pride of lions. So, if you have your copybook with you, you can try and transform these collective nouns into plural form. Just follow the rules that we have discussed in the previous slides. You can pause this video anytime to do this activity. So, if your answers are like these, which I would identify, then most likely your answers are correct. Okay? So, a school of fish, plural form would be schools of fish. A flight of birds becomes flights of birds. Flocks of sheep, swarms of bees, and pride of lions. Okay? So you might be wondering why we're not adding S in sheep. It's because sheep can be singular or plural. You don't change the spelling at all. It depends on the context. It's like deer, singular form, deer, plural form. Sheep doesn't have to uh, get an S at the end of it, at the terminal part of it, for it to be transformed into plural form. Which other word has the same rule? Yes, it is fish. So you say a school of fish, right? And schools of fish. No need to add ES to fish, at least in the standard English point of view. Now let's go to collective nouns, groups of objects. So if you're talking about a group of islands, there's no need for you to come up with another word for it. It's simply a group of islands. What do you call a group of stars? Yes, you call that a galaxy of stars. You also have a fleet of ships, a string of pearls, and a hedge of bushes. So again, in your copybook, try and transform the following collective nouns into plural form. So we have, in plural, groups of islands, galaxies of stars, fleets of ships, strings of pearls, and hedges of bushes. Now let's go to this exercise. You can pause this video anytime so you can go through the items and you can think about your answers as well. So copy each sentence onto a sheet of paper, change the underlined singular nouns to plural nouns. Number 1, the new student greeted the teachers. So you have the underlined word student. What is the plural form of student? Number 2, during recess, friends sat on the bench. What is the plural form for bench? Number 3, the frisky squirrel gathered acorns. Plural form for squirrel is. And number 4, the new books are on the shelf. What is the plural form for shelf? Now let's look at the answers. The new students greeted the teachers. Add S after the noun. During recess, friends sat on the benches. In this case, we added ES because our noun ends with CH. The frisky squirrels gathered acorns, and the new books are on the shelves. So in this case, we have changed F to V and added ES. Now, let's look at some tips on how we can use singular and plural nouns in writing. You have learned how to use singular and plural nouns to show exactly what you mean. Using exact nouns in your writing will create clear pictures for your readers. It also will help make your writing more interesting and easy to understand. So let's look at 2 examples right here. First example is with less exact noun, and the second example would have a more exact noun. So the first one says, a fan brought his pet to the track meet. Okay, it is non-specific. It is not exact. Which pet are we talking about? Is it a dog, a cat, or an iguana? Okay, so in order to improve your writing, make sure that you are putting in exact nouns, the exact names for those that you are referring to. Example, a fan brought his iguana to the track meet. So now, since your writing has become more specific, your readers can visualize which noun it is exactly that you are talking about. You can check out our references and resources for more information on this lesson.